Hi guys, welcome back. So let's go through the vote results for my video of who should be the New England captain, either for the Six Nations as one question, or the Rugby World Cup 2023 as the second question. Now what's great is I always see your opinions in the comments, but if I put a vote in, we just get a sample of hundreds of opinions, which is really informative, really interesting. So I'm going to talk about especially the two winners of those two questions, and I'd love to know what you think about the results as well, because in some ways they weren't surprising and in some ways they were surprising. Certainly we had very different results for the two questions, which is interesting. So, Six Nations 2022, who wins? Well, it's a very clear win for Courtney Lawes, coming in there at 56.7%, over half the vote. And he's clearly impressed during that autumn international period. Probably wouldn't have been high on the list before that, but certainly really impressed me, certainly with his leadership, just by example, and the fact he raised his game. And I'd be really happy if he was a first choice. I don't think it would impact England too badly, be it at 6 or in the second row. If he played in the second row, it would make the second row a little lighter, which is something to have a think about. But certainly the standard he's been playing for England and indeed the Lions has been outstanding. So him as first choice, absolutely no problem. And in many ways, he is actually Eddie's man, even though he was there before Eddie Jones. When Eddie Jones came along, Courtney Lawes was still hitting big. He was still having big impacts in games. But by his own admission, he was maybe not taking it easy, but he was happy just being a little one-dimensional. And Eddie Jones really pushed him and said, no, you can do more. You've got serious physical talent. You need to carry better. You need to handle better. And he did. He seriously responded to that. His carrying is so much better. Not just his body angle, but check out his footwork before contact. It's really something that stands him out, that gets him past the first big hit and often gets him over the gain line. Plus his handling in the face of the defence has improved massively. So, yeah, impressive for Courtney Lawes. For the Six Nations, you guys would absolutely have him. And then there's a bit of a fight behind who's the next favourite. Tom Curry at 21.9%. Itoje dropping back at 12%. I thought he might be a little higher. But, Curry would be your clear second choice if it wasn't Lawes. Then Genge, who I thought would get a few votes. Certainly in the comments, a number of you thought Genge could be a really good call. Bit of a dark horse coming through. And the one that surprised me, because a lot of them were under 1%, was Marcus Smith in at 7%. Marcus Smith, I think, has a big fan club. And, if there's anything for Marcus Smith, I think he's going to get voted in, be it, Prime Minister, whatever it is, Marcus Smith would get votes. So his fan club, and I am one of the fan club, votes him in, although I had excluded him from my vote in this one. But anyway, he's in there, the rest under 1%. So on to the second question. If you were to pick a captain for the 2023 World Cup, who would it be? And that changes things a lot. Tom Curry, he comes in first, 37.7%. And the clear winner there, clear future first choice captain. And he certainly is Eddie's man for sure. He was picked by Eddie on the tour to Argentina famously. Eddie was going to pick his brother Ben. Tom got the chance, and he just has never looked back. Got a lot of caps already and still very young. The best is still to come from him, I'm sure. Certainly he's had his ups and downs this year, but his potential is absolutely huge as long as he stays injury-free. So I'd have no problem with Tom Curry as captain. I think he'd improve as a leader as time went on. So I think, there may be a few question marks to start with, but as he got into it, I think he'd be great. Then we've got Itoje there at 23.7%. Now, certainly, if you'd asked this question a few years ago, I think he'd have got a higher percentage. I think his penalty count maybe counts against him a little bit. He's done a few things that people don't like in the comments before, but I still think he's a fantastic player, very experienced, a good leader, talks a lot, really respected in the squad. So he could be a really good call. But yeah, a little low down there, 23.7%. Then some people think that Lawes could, carry on to the 23 World Cup, which he could, but we will see. Certainly the votes have dropped off a cliff there. I think it's due to his age, not his ability. Then Genge again, around that 7% mark, just above Farrell actually, which is interesting. I thought Farrell might be a little higher because, he is a good leader. I don't think many would doubt he's a good leader. All his teammates, talk a lot about him, how great a leader he is, but would he get in the team? I think that's the biggest thing that comes through the comments. So yeah, very low down there at 7%. Just above, the Marcus Smith fan club, of course, they're loyal. They want him there as captain. And Slade as well, just snuck in there, just over 5%. I didn't think he would feature this much, actually, but maybe he's a dark horse, a bit of a bolter. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of all those results. As always, I love your input, especially these votes. I think they're really interesting. So I'd like to bring you the results. And I do have a video coming out on Christmas Eve, which is my biggest team selection so far. Very important. Love you guys to make comments on that and say what you think of that selection. And I will catch you guys after Christmas.